Lesson 75, factorable denominators and sign changes. We're going to combine two concepts that we've talked about individually into one lesson. All right, we've talked about denominators in which we need to factor in order to find a common denominator to add. We've also talked about just recently denominators in which we need to change the sign so that we can have common denominators. All right, so we're just combining two concepts into one problem. All right, so we need to remember a couple things. All right, first we're going to factor the quadratic denominator. Okay, this will help us find a common denominator. And then second, we're going to change the sign in the denominator that needs changing. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at one example together. All right, we have x plus 3 over x squared minus x minus 6. Make that a little bit neater. And we have x squared minus x minus 6 minus 3 over 3 minus x. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do in this problem is to factor the quadratic denominator. Now, our quadratic denominators are the ones with an x squared term. Alright, so we're going to factor those out first. Alright, x squared minus x minus 6 can be factored into two binomials, with x being the first term. Okay, we've talked about factoring before. We're looking for terms that multiply to give me 6, but add or subtract to give me negative 1. Alright, those would be 3 and 2. Alright, the 3 is going to be negative and the 2 is going to be positive, because a negative times a positive equals a negative. And then we want to have a negative term in the middle, okay, so that gives us our bigger number. So in the denominator we have x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, so that's been taken care of. The second thing we need to do is change the denominator in the sign that needs changing. Okay, so what we're going to do over in this denominator, if you'll notice here we have x minus 3. Over here we have 3 minus x. So we're going to flip them. We have negative x plus 3. Keeping the sign with the term, so that we have denominators that look the same over here. What we're also going to do is multiply every single term through here by a negative. Okay, so I'm actually going to distribute this negative symbol here into each term. Okay, so that's going to give me plus 3 plus x and then negative 3 in the denominator. All right, so now my problem looks like this: x plus 3 over x minus 3 times x minus 2 plus 3 over x minus 3. Alright, so I've factored the denominator. I've switched the numerator, or switched the other denominator. So now I can find a common denominator to add. Alright, my common denominator is going to be x minus 3 times x minus 2. Alright, so my first term is going to stay exactly the same. Nothing needs to be changed on that because it already has the denominator. In my second problem, I'm actually going to multiply the numerator by x minus 2, because that's what I'm multiplying the denominator term by. Okay, if I distribute this out, I'm going to get 3x minus 6, and I'm going to go ahead and combine terms here and here. Alright, so x plus 3x gives me 4x, 3 minus 6 gives me minus 3, and it's all over that denominator, x minus 3 times x minus 2. Okay, and that is the final answer. So again, we're just combining steps. I'm sorry, this is a plus 2, which is going to change our answer. Alright, so this would be plus 2, plus 6, plus 2. This is actually going to be plus 9. That makes sense. Sorry about that. Make sure you copy your problem down correctly. Alright, let's look at a second example. Alright, we have x plus 7 over x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 3 over negative 1 minus x. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is to factor out this denominator. All right, so if I factor, I'm going to get x plus 1 and x plus 1. Nice and easy. All right, second, I'm going to change this denominator. Now, if I flip this around, I'm going to get negative x minus 1, keeping the sign with the term. Okay, of course, we don't want negative, so we're going to multiply each term through. We're going to distribute this minus sign into each term. Okay, so this becomes negative 3 plus x plus 1. All right, so now my problem looks like this. I have x plus 7 over x plus 1 times x plus 1 plus negative 3 over x plus 1. All right, so the only thing left to do is find a common denominator. All right, in this case, it's going to be x plus 1 times x plus 1. So my first term stays exactly as is, x plus 7 over x plus 1 times x plus 1. My second term, negative 3, is going to be multiplied by an x plus 1 when we find a common denominator. All right, so again, we're just going to distribute and simplify. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. All right, and then we're going to combine like terms here and here. X plus negative 3x gives me negative 2x. 7 minus 3 is 4. And it's over x plus 1 times x plus 1. So my final answer is negative 2x plus 4 over x plus 1 times x plus 1. All right. These next two examples I want you to go ahead and do on your own using the same steps. All right, so the first example, we have x minus 3 over x squared minus 2x minus 15 plus x plus 2 over x minus 5. All right, and the second one I want you to do on your own is x minus 2 over x squared minus 3x minus 4 plus x plus 5 over 4 minus x. All right, so go ahead and work those two out on your own to completion, and we will check them when we come back into class.